You can respond accordingly.
I could tell you're going to be a fabulous person to talk to.
She was never punched at
And Martae could tell you're going to be a fabulous person to talk to.
all during this whole procedure. So you fallaciously saying, no, they get hit and all this other stuff. In this
They
most
do. They
recent
get assaulted
evidence,
all the
data that
time.
we show, it didn't happen November 2nd. Can you show me where this is happening?
All you did was bring up a personal anecdote. I can give you statistics and research that show overall women get assaulted all the time. Just so you're aware, trans women, when they need to use a locker room, the answer is they don't use a locker room. They do it at home because of how much discrimination exists.
That's not true.
Regarding
how is that true when Martae literally just brought up example of a trans woman using the woman's restroom? How can he sit there and say, oh, personal anecdote? See, he just brushes it off. Like, First Amender on out of one side of his mouth will be like, yeah, listen, if you're a creep and you're going to the women's restrooms, you should be locked in a box. But then you bring up examples. Okay, what about this creep? What about this creep? Well, just let them use whatever they want. Yeah, that's just a personal anecdote.
That's 100% true. That's literally, talk to any trans person. That is the fact.
Yeah,
they're living in an anti-trans world. And so what they do is that they avoid strife like this because they run into guys like you. That's the problem. So here's the thing, right? I want to go back.
When these men go into the women's locker rooms, they run into guys like Martae. Make it make sense.
Into it. I just want to break it down. When a boy has gynecomastia and they want to remove the breasts that aren't supposed to be there, why are they removing it? It's an internal sense of the sex doesn't match with the external body. Do you agree? Do you understand? That's what that means. That's what that does.
I asked if you could demonstrate where this happens now in 2025. I'm still waiting for a demonstration.
Gynecomastia?
No, that's not what I asked. Where trans women don't go into women's bathrooms.
All right. I'm saying that they avoid it.
Cool. Can you show me that they avoid this? Because obviously on November 2nd, I can show that, but can you show anything else that's a counter response to this?
Hold on.
Before we move on to your gynecomastia claims, can you at least address this?
I can. I mean, I can pull this up. Hold on.
Yeah, and then by the way, he dismisses Martae's solid evidence right there, by the way, as well. That's just anecdotal evidence. Yet First Amender's like, you could talk to any trans woman and that's what they'll tell you. Oh, okay. So here's anecdotal evidence you could use, but Martae, nah, dog.
I'm looking for abuse and harm.
Huh?
Physical harm and abuse. That's what I asked. Can you demonstrate that?
Yes, I can demonstrate that. Are you asking for that they're avoiding using the bathrooms, or are you asking for physical harm and abuse towards trans people?
You said this is something you stated. You said this. This is your claim, not mine.
Those are two claims. The claim. I'm asking, what do you want? What do you want the claim to? What do you want
the claim to be?
As the reason why they're avoiding this.
Okay, fine.
Concise for you?
Okay. Okay, so I'll go ahead and share this so you can see it for yourself. Are you able to just maximize that? Okay. So restricting equal access to public facilities is harmful and it doesn't work. Banning transgender people from using public facilities in alignment with their gender identity.
Yeah, listen, who's willing to bet this source is not exactly from an unbiased source? And by the way, of course, if you tell a man, hey, get out of the women's locker room when he wants to be there, of course, he's not going to like that because he wants to be in the women's locker room. That's why he's in there. He's like, oh, yes, I get to be in here. All I got to do is put on some earrings and a tank top, and I can be in here, and I can look at all the ladies and be a creep, right? But if you tell him, hey, buddy, you got to get out of here, well, of course he's not going to like it. Of course. And even and even men that actually believe that they're women, yes, if you tell them, hey, don't go in the women's locker room, of course they're not going to like it. So is this like a self-report type of deal or what? How is it harmful to them other than they just don't like it?
Deprives them of the ability to participate in public life. Without the ability to use a public restroom, trans people are less able to live their lives and travel outside of their home. Trans employees need to be able to use the restroom at work and keep their jobs without risking their health and safety. Trans people also need to be able to access government buildings for basic tasks like voting or visiting the post office. Trans people cannot safely use the bathroom of the gender they were assigned at birth just because of the law requires them to. Trans people are routinely subjected to harassment and assault in bathrooms. 68% of trans people have been verbally harassed and 9% have been physically assaulted when using the public restroom in the past 12 months. And sadly, 8% of people have faced kidney or urinary tract infection from having to avoid restrooms for their safety. In addition to being discriminatory, bathroom bans are bad for our health. Offering separate private bathrooms is a great way to ensure anyone can feel comfortable when they go to the bathroom, whether or not that they're transgender. However, anyway, I hope that helps.
No. So let me restate my question. I'm not going to rephrase. I'm going to restate the same thing. In 2025, I didn't see a date. My question is, I asked you in 2025, is this happening currently?
So what? We're just going to hold on. Listen, I don't want this to be a gotcha. I want to have a legitimate conversation with you. Hold on. No, what you just did is a thing.
He's lying, though. He doesn't want to have a genuine conversation. Because again, if you want to have a genuine conversation, when I had the conversation with him, I would point out, yeah, well, what about if men just want to dress like women and pretend to be trans to get into women's spaces? He said, that's Looney Tune stuff. That doesn't happen. Clearly it does happen, but he just dismisses and goes, well, that doesn't happen. He doesn't care about the safety of women. He just cares about trans.
Called a goalpost shifting. You didn't say anything about a year. You didn't say anything. And also you're being very, very specific.
No, I asked about the article. This is specific to the article that you just brought up.
This is regarding transgender people and bathroom access.
By the way, if it happens all the time, like if this is such a hazard to trans people, right? He should have no problem finding a 2025 study or article, correct?
Trans people are in fact being assaulted for using the public restroom, and it's
I said in 2025, I'll say this again, in 2025, where is this happening? That's what I asked.
I just gave an example how that happened.
Congruent. In 2025, is this congruent?
I don't know when this was written. I don't know when exactly this was written.
Oh.
Yeah, see, he just pulled something up he does that. He pulls something up really quick. Just because he makes a claim. And so instead of making a claim because he read about it, he's making a claim. And then when you ask him to back it up, then he tries to find the article to back it up. He always does that. So of course he doesn't know when it was written. He just typed in real quick, it's bad for trans women not to use the restroom or something like that. And then a random article popped up, probably from a fucking LGBTQ website or some shit. And he cites that. Thank you very much again. Being very generous today, brother, for the $5 dono, Keith. Instead of men versus women, call it male and female, and watch how fast the logic changes. It's crazy. It doesn't stop unless we say so. Yes, exactly. It's not done yet. As the Gold Gyms incident showed us, this war isn't over yet. The trans refused to go quietly into that good night. Thank you very much, though, Keith.
So we can put up 2,000 data and say currently right now
that's not 2,000 data.
This is crazy. Okay.
I mean, the copyright is of 2025. All rights reserved on the bottom.
See it. Can you bring it up so I can see it?
It's on the bottom. Like,
see, you're just making.
Anyway, I'm not making assertions. No, I do have it. I gave it to you. That's an example. There's multiple instances where there's trans women being physically assaulted. Please. Jesus Christ, what is with you people? I'm trying to have a legitimate conversation with you.
Martae, what Martae should have told him, you people, that's racist. Dude, Martae, that would have been perfect. Missed opportunity there.
And I want to actually, no. I know it to be the fact. I have done so much reading on this topic, right? And I gave you the information, right? There's more information that is available. There's a lot of instances where, let me ask you this. have you read any book on endocrinology? Any book at all?
Or your podcast.
I'll ask you a question once again.
Stop.
We move
Have you
forward.
read any book on
Hold on, you
endocrinology
still haven't answered
whatsoever?
my question.
Have you read any book on
What
endocrinology
year was this
whatsoever?
dated? Because I asked
Answer
you
the
for current
fucking
data.
question. Have you read
Answer my
any book
fucking
on
question.
endocrinology whatsoever?
Listen, you fucking
Nope, we're gonna try it one more
Answer
time.
my
No,
fucking
you're the
question.
one. No, hold on. I've answered
2025,
multiple
I
of your
asked you in
questions.
2025,
It's
where is
your
this
turn
happening?
to answer a question.
Listen,
I'm asking
you
you
don't wanna
this.
answer this
Have
question
you
because you don't have
read
the data.
anything regarding
You don't have the data that
endocrinology
is current that
whatsoever?
is asking.
I do. I sat there and I showed you the neurobiology of
You
trans
showed me
people.
the
You
2025
completely
current data that I asked
completely
for?
removed that acknowledgement.
Was it
And on top of the
2025
fact that I
data?
provide a study that shows very directly how trans people are being assaulted in bathrooms, that's not a stretch,
any
by the
data,
way.
from
Like,
any
I don't even think you
any
even need data to come to that conclusion. People
So, okay, a trans person getting assaulted in the bathroom, that's not a stretch, by the way. Oh, but a man dressing like a woman to get access to women's spaces, oh, that's Looney Tune stuff. If I were Martae, I would have been like, that sounds like Looney Tune stuff, First Amender.
are hyper aggressive towards trans
From
people.
any
You
year,
won't even
you just
acknowledge
tell me
the
the data
existence
that
of
I
trans
have
people. So
is
God
current.
forbid if there's a trans person wanting to use the men's
Current
room and then you're going to
information.
sit there and walk
What are
past
you
them
sick
and
ass
they
freaking
like
nuthead?
hell,
Asking for
you're going to
current
tell me
information.
you're not going to verbally assault
Still
these people.
purging
I wanted to
already.
have a legitimate conversation with you,
Look,
but rather than
look,
actually
just
having
because
a
you look like
legitimate
you have a
conversation,
doesn't
every
mean I
single
want
right winger
this
just
kind of
wants to
coordination
turn
from
this
you.
into
And
like
answer my fucking
they just
question.
want to make it into just gotchas and like,
This isn't
oh,
a
look at
gotcha.
me, I'm like the
Asking
new
you
podcast
specifically.
bro. You're a fucking idiot,
Can
dude.
you
You don't
answer
know
my
anything
question
regarding
when I specifically
endocrinology.
asked you?
You don't know anything
Just so-
regarding the
Can
neurobiology.
you
You
answer
don't
my
know anything
question?
regarding the biology
just so-
or the
just so
sociology
the-
or the psychology. You
All right,
just
hold
watch
up 1 second.
podcasts.
We'll get to
One
that
second,
later.
1 second, 1 second, guys.
Fucking
Just so the
idiot.
chat can hear what's going on here.
Well done, Martae. How much? This is like what? Well, according to the debate clock in here, damn, not even 15 minutes has gone by. A little over 10 minutes has gone by, and already you got First Amender to Spurg. But it's because he knows he's wrong. Like, again, it's just simple. Like First Amender's trick is to go into the studies and endocrinology and all this bullshit. So again, that's why I think from now on, it's just, you should just grant him that. Yes, there are men who legitimately think they're women. There are men that suffer from that. Okay, now though, why is it okay for men to pretend to be trans or whatever to get into women's spaces? Like, how do we know the difference? Because I've seen in other debates where First Amender will bring up the biology, right? However, if you're just a man dressed like a woman and you go up to First Amender and you tell him, yes, I'm a woman, I'm going to go use the women's restroom now, he would be like, go right ahead. Meaning that all the biology bullshit doesn't even fucking matter. It doesn't even fucking matter. But he tries to lean on that because he knows like no one really gives a shit about the fucking what's going on in here, because we don't give a shit what's going on in here. We can't see what's going on in here. Okay, so we have to take someone's word for it if we say, no, really, I'm actually trans, or no, really, I'm a woman, or what have you. Okay, but you can't do that. We can't let men just go to the women's restrooms because there's some people that really think up here that they're women.
Let's bring it back here. I hear Martae keeps trying to get a question off. Martae, why don't you just ask your question and see where we can go from there?
Look, I'm going to ask this for the last time because I don't think you have an answer for this, and I'm being good faith right now, asking you this, and you're calling me all kinds of idiots and shit. It's frustrating dealing with you right now because I just want a simple fucking answer. You're going off of biology and every other tangent except for what I'm engaging with, calling goalpost moving. Once again, back to this goalpost that I never moved. I asked you in 2025, where is this happening?
Wow, Mrs. D, your bestie knocked out one of them. Nice. But yeah, no, absolutely. This is what this insanity leads to, is that, yeah, now you have men in women's prisons where, yes, they're raping the female prisoners and shit. Or you have the men going into the women's locker rooms or the women's bathrooms or beating up at women's boxing and shit. Like, this is what this madness and insanity leads to. But thank you very much, Mrs. D, for sharing that. That's crazy.
I gave you
for them to avoid the bathroom in 2025.
I gave you that. I provided that. I mean, if you want
I
specifically,
didn't see
like
a year.
2020. Okay, let's pull up one with a year then. If you
Oh,
want
so
one
that wasn't
specific
it.
with
You
a
just
year.
admitted that was fallacious. Oh shit. You know what? Let's move on.
What does it matter if it has a specific? What does it matter if it has a specific date? All you did was
Pull
go.
up your
You
ChatGPT
asked me to
Google right now. This is
substantiate it.
fucking bad.
You asked me to substantiate it. I substantiate it, and then you said, "Is that
No.
2025?" And I'm like, "I don't know. Maybe. What if it is? What if it isn't? Would it matter?" Let me ask you
It
this:
matters a
if it
lot.
said, "Stop talking." If it
It
said
matters if you ask
2020,
me a
stop
question, it matters a lot.
talking. Can I get a
Go
model?
ahead.
Like, what is this? 2025 specifically, if it said 2025, would you acknowledge the existence of trans people?
That's all I asked for. Yeah, you're going on this diatribe. You're
All
refusing
right,
to
try
answer the
again.
question.
If it said 20, you're literally doing that. You're avoiding answering the question. So I'm going to, one more time. If the article
I'm avoiding it.
specifically
Go ahead.
stated
Go ahead.
2025,
Crazy.
then would you acknowledge the existence of trans people? Yes or no?
That's not what I asked. I didn't ask if I'd acknowledge the existence of trash people, you idiot. I'm asking you in 2025, where is this happening right now? The abuse that's causing them to avoid these bathrooms. That's all I asked. I don't care
Yeah,
about these- we can
again,
do
there's
existence
multiple laws
later.
that have been passed that ban existence of trans people from being able to use the restroom, and assaults have picked up as a result of the anti-trans agenda that the Trump administration has been wanting to push. This isn't a secret. We have this information. I mean, if you want the specific statistics of assaults happening to trans women trying to use, or trans men for that matter, trying to use the restroom, even the biological one that they're assigned to, they're being assaulted. There's also cisgendered women that don't pass the perfectly as a woman getting assaulted as well. So like there are cisgendered women getting assaulted as a result of the anti-trans positions. So but this is beside the point, right? I wanted to get back onto what the topic is. The topic
we can
is,
move past it
are
because
trans
you don't
women
have the
women?
data.
It's going well, Emmett. Just watching Martae destroy First Amender, already causing First Amender to spurg out already in record time. But yeah, First Amender is lost. He's still trying to defend men going into women's restrooms, you know, the usual.
But
You
you
don't have
can't
to
even
hear. We can move
acknowledge
past
Just
it.
let him.
whether
Just
or
let him
not-
finish, Martae. Just
you
let him
can't
finish.
even acknowledge whether or not gender and sex are separate things, even though you're able to understand a concept like gynecomastia. Let me ask you this: why do you like getting big and strong?
Oh yeah, this.
Why do I like getting big and strong? Because I like
Mhm.
winning competitions. That's why I like getting big and strong.
You don't like looking good?
I could
Is
care
that part
less
of it?
about aesthetics. I'm a Christian. I don't care about materialism, all the other stuff. If I
Okay,
can
well,
win, that's
fine.
all I care
So
about. I'm
maybe
an
not
athlete.
you.
Who-
So
who-
maybe not you.
Who cares
But that's
about
fine,
that? I just want to
right?
win, bro.
Are there people that they like to look? They go to the gym to look good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
So
so
what?
men, they typically what they like to do is they like to get big muscles, right? Because
And I like to buy the magazines of these big men with muscles and play pocket pool to them. All right. So basically, bottom line is that's why men need to go into women's restrooms. Bada bing, bada boom. I win.
big, strong men get big muscles, right?
Yeah, so what?
That's affirming their gender identity.
No,
That's
that's
what
not
that
affirming
is.
their gender
Yeah,
identity.
it's an internal sense of your sex.
No.
And you decide,
Hold on.
I want to go to the gym to exemplify that maleness. And so they lift weights to look bigger. That's what they do.
No.
This is
looking
also the
bigger
case for
doesn't-
women. However,
No.
some people,
I remember hearing that. I was like, really? He's comparing it to like men going to the gym or what have you. It's like, well, okay. So can Martae start going to the women's restrooms now because he works out? It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing.
what is happening inside their brain doesn't actually match what is happening in their external genitalia. And there are multiple instances of hormonal differences in the brain, and this is pre-HRT, mind you, where they can exhibit a different sense of their sex internally. And this has also been able to be exhibited at a neurobiological level.
No, that's completely fallacious right now because, and
That's
I'll tell
not
you why.
fallacious. What?
When
What?
you
No,
say
no, no.
this-
Wait, no, no.
Let
What
Martae
fallacy
answer.
did I
Wait,
make?
let Martae answer. Let Martae answer.
I swear to God,
Hold on,
all of
First
these
Amendment,
debate
and
bros are the
you're
same.
interrupting right
They
now.
can't
Well,
have a
I need you
discussion.
Just let him answer.
They're
Just let him answer.
incapable of discussion.
Yeah, go ahead, First Amendment. Walk off while I go ahead and just rebuttal your whole fucking bullshit right now.
Dude. First Amender can't handle the fact that he gets cooked because he's wrong. His worldview is wrong and it's warped, and he can't handle that. Again, no humility, no lack of self-reflection, no lack of self-awareness, nothing. He truly believes he's in the right. He's been brainwashed, by the way. I remember once, I don't know if it was like a stream or debate or something I watched where he lists off all the books that he's read. It's all fucking lefty books. This dude doesn't really listen to what the right has to say or the reasons. He's been brainwashed and he doesn't even know it. You would think after getting cooked so many times and owned it so many times that he would have realized something, but no, these people are so hard-headed. By the way, who brought up James? Yeah. This is where he brings up the rats look more like rats argument. I wonder how First Amender has so much knowledge of rodents. Does he? I wonder how far his knowledge of rodents go, like of gerbils, if you will.
Anyways, back to this. The reason why people want to go ahead and work out is because they're competitive by nature. We're competing as a species.
Yes,
And when
because
we're
of
talking about this, we're
testosterone.
talking about a
Yes.
taxonomical classification of men. When we do this, we are competing. That's the number one reason why. When you ask guys, it isn't because I want to be more like a guy. Nobody fucking says this. Who the fuck says I'm training to look more like a guy? Nobody has ever fucking said this once. Matter of fact, if I've been a pro bodybuilder for a very long time, and I'm still active as a bodybuilder, I can definitely tell you, if you can point to me any direction where anybody says I'm bodybuilding to look more like a guy, I've never fucking heard this. That's really weird. People bodybuild because they want to look better, to grab the chicks, get people, be competitive in this dating arena, or be competitive on stage. It's all about mostly competition. They're not bodybuilding to transition from like nobody bodybuilds to transition from
They're
being a
not
woman. This is fallacious.
transitioning.
This is stupid.
Their sex matches their gender, so they have no need to transition. However,
mean
they
you're
are
adding
affirming
on top
their
of what they already
gender
have?
identity by adding muscle as a male. That's how that works. I'm just trying to exhibit, I'm trying to tell you how there is an internal sense of your sex, and it can separate from the external genitalia. And that can be exhibited at an endocrinological level, a neurobiological level, an embryological level.
We should just start saying that from now on. All right, hey guys, I'm gonna go affirm my gender for 2 hours. All right, be right back. Boy, I'm sore from affirming my gender. Really worked out my biceps today, affirming my gender. That's what we should just all saying now.
Did you know, for example, there exist babies who will be, or embryos that are XY chromosomes, but because they do not synthesize testosterone the same as other people, they grow a vagina. If you think that their
What does
internal
that have to do with
brain,
transitioning?
well, I'm giving an example, right? Because what's happening internally in their brain feels different than what is happening externally, and because of the difference in the chemical makeup in the brain, they feel like their inside isn't matching their outside, and it can be exhibited in all sorts of ways. You have, for example, rough and tumble play versus social play. Girls tend to do social play, whereas boys tend to do rough and tumble.
Yeah, so what?
You probably recall that there have been times where the girl does the rough and tumble play and maybe just
See, this is what I'm talking about. See, even after that executive order dealing with trans and sports and stuff, California is like defying orders. Like, we need to get tougher on that shit. We can't allow this. We can't allow men serving in women's prisons and then the men playing in women's sports. Like, we can't have that shit. We need to get harsher. Step it up, Trump. Step it up, Republicans. Tell California no more fucking funding or whatever it is that you offered. Like, no more. Crack down on California. Newsom needs to be spanked. Spank him. Get the belt.
one of the boys just happened to be a little bit like to hang out with the girls a lot more than hanging out with the boys, right? Wouldn't you acknowledge that exists?
Yeah, I can copy behavior. It doesn't make me the thing. So back to this.
No.
Hold on real quick.
It has a
I'm not gonna let you
basis
fucking
in
filibuster this
biology.
third
It's not
debate.
just copying
This is
behavior.
crazy. So back to
Like-
this. Do
Oh
I
my
make
God.
additions onto my car to make it look more like a car? Where can I see this?
What?
Anywhere else? Can I see somebody?
We're not
add
talking about
additions onto
cars. We're
planes
talking
and
about
make it look
humans.
more like a plane?
I don't know anything
Wait,
about
hold on,
cars. We're not talking about cars.
I didn't interrupt you the whole fucking time.
Cars aren't
I can give you a
humans
hypothetical.
though. Cars
I'm
aren't
giving you a
humans. This isn't
hypothetical. Do you see this
analogous.
anywhere
So it's funny because he says cars aren't humans, though, then immediately starts bringing up rodents and rats.
fucking else?
Yeah, but
Do you see this in
cars aren't
nature?
humans.
Where anybody else is adding on to
Cars
deer,
aren't
any other
humans.
species
Cars
to make it
aren't
more like a
conscious.
species? Can you
Cars
answer that
aren't
question?
conscious.
Can you answer the question?
You didn't
first?
even ask a question,
I
numbnuts.
asked you because you were talking. If you would shut the fuck up and listen, maybe
Yeah,
you'll
don't
even answer the
compare
question.
human beings to
back to this.
cars.
Can you answer the fucking question? Do you see this anywhere else in nature or society where
Yes.
people are adding onto the thing like a car to make it look more like a
Yes.
car, to make it look more like it already is?
So first of all, your question is ridiculous. We don't.
Can you answer
Cars
the
aren't
fucking question?
biological, but yes, we do exhibit instances of hormonal differences that do in fact change behavior fundamentally. This has been exhibited not only in rats, but as well as rhesus macaques. There's numerous mammals that can exhibit
First Amender loves all the rhesus macaques. He loves all the macaques.
this. So
It's
one
not what I
example is
asked.
Sucks all the macaques.
What did you ask then? You said, has this happened in animals? Yes.
If
The answer is yes.
Okay, so people are adding on features on animals to make it look more like the animal.
No. You can have differences
So you
in
didn't answer the
chemical.
fucking question. I need you to listen.
I just want you to understand it's differences in internal chemical makeup that result in different behavioral
Can you
differences.
answer the question? Do we see this
I am answering your
anywhere
question
else
as
where
best
this
as I
makes
can.
sense?
Yes.
Where?
Well, for example, rats. There's instances of hormonal organization and sexual behavior among rats that also can be exhibited among rhesus macaques. So a good example of this is that they've been able to exhibit, for example, it's kind of hard to explain.
He loves the macaques.
Without me having it here. I'll try to show it over my camera. Maybe it'll help.
Can you please reconcile this for me? I need you to tell me how they're making rats look more like rats.
No, I'm not.
That's what I asked.
How
Can you
making
answer the
rats look
question?
more like
Because
rats?
what you're answering. That's what I asked you.
Okay. So, all right. So to break it down, imagine, for example, that you have a rat that has different types of behavior. So there's feminizing behavior and masculinizing behavior. A masculinizing behavior for a rat would be a mounting behavior regarding mating. And a feminizing behavior of a rat would be something like lordosis. Lordosis is a factor of lifting up the tail to be mounted. So if you actually look at the uterus of rats, you'll find right here, you can exhibit that there is a.
Why does he have a book that has the uteruses of rats in there? What First Amender? Why do you have that?
A line convention of a blood path, and you'll have a bunch of little rats along the sides. You see these little beans here? So what happens is, if you have, for example, along this blood line, if you have, say, for example, female, 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 and then a male, then what happens is that male actually receives more female hormones because of the line of females that existed before it. As a result, this male rat exhibits behaviors of lordosis. And so, yes, we can exhibit instances of gender among rats.
I'm being patient right now. I'm really trying right now. You're really pushing it right now. Can you at least answer my question? Because none of that fucking answers my question.
Yeah. Why does he have a book with with like male with like rats uteruses and shit in there? Why? Never mind this, guys. Check his hard drive and his bookshelf now, guys. Come on.
You asked if it happens in animals.
What are
It
they
does.
doing to the rats to look more like rats?
This is nothing. You're not understanding how gender is separate from sex.
Can you just at least answer the question so I can get to the next question, because this is tangential?
I never made a claim that rats look more like rats. I'm referring to how rats can exhibit behaviors typical of male or female, and depending on hormonal structure in the brain results in the rat's behavior changing. And this is also true among humans.
What are they doing to rats to make them look more like male rats?
Not look like, behave like. They still look like female or male rats.
You're going to, because here's the thing though, I've heard this in previous debates with you. How do we judge a female? By looking like a female. Like, to me, that's what I'm addressing right now.
Well, typically
So
you observe the
look more like
genitalia to determine whether or not they're male or female. The point that I'm trying to tell you is that there are male typical behaviors among rats,
so you're not
and female typical behaviors among rats. Well, because you're not addressing what I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to show you that gender is different from sex. This exhibits itself not just among humans, but can be also exhibited across multiple mammal species.
Right now.
This is also prevalent among rhesus macaques, by the way.
So for appearances, can you
let's
tell
talk
me
about
how
macaques.
it changes their appearance to look more like male rats?
Oh, he's thinking about macaques, talking about macaques. He loves macaques.
It's all I'm asking.
It has nothing to do with the appearance. It has to do with the behavior. It's referring to the behavior. I didn't say anything about appearance.
I'm asking about appearance. I'm asking.
Okay, well, then asking about appearance isn't really answering what I'm trying to show you.
So we don't go by their appearances at all, right? As far as trans women, we're looking at appearances, right?
We're observing that there are, like, wouldn't you agree that is lordosis a female typical behavior?
No, let's get back. Okay.
Is lordosis a female typical behavior?
I asked you a question. So we're not going to use
is lordosis a female typical behavior?
Being a woman, we're not going to use appearance.
Is lordosis a female typical behavior among rats?
You're talking about behavior. Can we get past the eyeballs?
Oh my God, dude.
So you're willing to throw this out? Can you?
Because you're talking about, because you're talking, when you're talking about, when you're yeah, we do that all the time.
Then you
right?
see how
I'm
this
saying
is tangential.
an internal sense
please?
Of, because I'm referring to the gender, which is the internal sense of the sex. Do you understand?
I'm asking you about appearances. We can move past this if you can answer the question. I'll move past this. Because right now you're failing to answer a second question that I've asked you.
What you've asked the question, but it's like a nonsensical question. I'm trying to explain to you how gender is separate from sex, and then understanding how hormone differences can result in different behaviors. And since we can observe that from an animal position, that is also true among males and females for humans. There is an internal sense of your sex. Sometimes it doesn't match what happens externally. This has been discovered and exhibited since, I would say, since the 1960s. We've seen these hormones. This has existed for a long time now.
First Amender, you're all over the place because I asked you one question, you're going to behaviors. Right now, I'm just talking about appearances, because the problem with your whole argument is you want me to affirm with my eyeballs, but then when I use a functional equivalent to where we could see an example anywhere else where we...
I don't think First Amender, I'd like to see First Amender try to talk to a hot woman. Probably walk up to a woman and be like, all right, first of all, before I start talking to you and start courting you, can I see what's in your pants, please? And the girl's like, oh, no, don't worry, I'm not a man. And he's like, damn it. All right, bye then. Sorry, I have no time for you. And yes, Crucible clips. Yeah, I actually did see that debate. It's great. It's a legendary. I love how Jake was just always like, yeah, my good buddy First Amender and stuff. I reviewed that on my channel, actually, Crucible clips. It's a good one.
Where I don't think that rats can be delusional. I don't think that they have this ultimate sense of self to where they're like, oh, I don't feel like this, and we're doing this to them, or we're doing this to any other species to magnify the fact that, oh, it's a male. We're going to affirm this to be a female or anything like this. We don't see
so
this.
You don't actually.
Hence, this
you don't have to do anything
right now.
You don't have to do anything to the rat. What happens is that you have the uterine vein that will along the chain have multiple females, which would increase the amount of estrogen and lack testosterone along that vein, which results in the male rat possessing more of female behaviors as they grow up. But
Yeah.
That doesn't answer my question, but I'm willing to move past this. This is bullshit. Like, are you trolling right now? Because this is crazy. Because I just
I'm
honestly
being
At some point, you have to wonder: is this a troll? Is this just an elaborate troll? Is First Amender really just a genius troll? But no, unfortunately, he's legit. How far back should I look to find the video? I like to watch it. Let's see. I don't remember when it dated, but I have a Jake Rattlesnake playlist, and I also have a First Amender playlist on my channel. Look up one of those, and it should be on there. I don't remember how far back it is. I could look that up real quick though as this is going.
entirely me bringing up studies and now it. So hold on. Let's say, for example, I mean, we can talk about the appearance thing. I think I know where you're getting at. We'll go through it if you like.
No, we can move past it because I'm
let's say
tired.
you
We
look
only got 30 minutes. I might as well wreck you on your other points. But anyways, back to this.
What?
I have another question right now.
What?
I mean,
hold on.
right
hold on.
now, let's
For
get back
starters,
to this real quick.
I'm not
First,
interested
Amender,
in
hold on.
like, ooh, I'm
We're
gonna
not gonna
own
do this.
you
I'm not
in
even
this
doing that,
argument.
Amender.
Is that really
And
your
back
mentality
to
that you
this.
want to
No,
own
I'm
somebody
just
in an
telling you right now,
argument?
you refuse to answer two questions.
It's
You
very
keep
clear to me
I'm being
that
charitable
you're
and
just
righteous
looking to
right
get
now to
dunk
move
a
past all
win.
this.
And I'm sitting here
I'm
trying
willing
to
to move
give you
past
some
this.
basic information regarding endocrinology. This is
I'm
why I
willing to
asked you
move past
earlier,
your blunders.
have you read anything in endocrinology whatsoever? What do you know about trans people outside of podcasts? Have you read any books
From
on
the
this topic?
podcast.
I don't have. There's audiobooks.
Oh, holy shit!
There's
Wait, that's a
videos
book.
covering the
What books
subject
have you
by
read?
Researchers.
Wait,
I've
that's a
done lot
book.
of
An
research
audio
on
book
this
is a
topic,
book.
and
Is
you're
it?
gonna
What did you
denigrate
read?
this, the podcast.
An audio book is a book. What did you read?
So I'm not gonna pull this shit up right now. Just like we did.
Just tell me. I'm curious.
This is
Just
ironic.
tell
You
me.
want me to
I
pull-
said I didn't have a
can't
date.
pull up a date
That's
when I asked you to
fine.
pull
I
this
could
up.
say I don't have a date. I didn't have a date. I don't have a date.
No,
That's
I
fine.
asked you for a date, and you were like, "No, it's."
I don't have a date. I said, hey,
You
on the
literally
published article,
I
it
didn't want to
doesn't
say
have a
this
date.
before, but you literally lied to me during this whole this debate.
What
You're gonna
lie?
have-
I just told you, hey, I don't have a
It's
date.
the
I'm
lie
sorry.
that you told me, and I'm going to call your bullshit
Crucible Eclipse. It's about 4 months ago. 4 months ago is when I reviewed Jake versus First Amender.
out right now. I asked you.
What the
it's
fuck are you?
2025.
I'm not
You
here
said it's
trying to lie to you or to
2025.
trick you
Hold
or
on.
to
Hold on,
or to
hold on.
or to like
You're
to
interrupting
try
me
to
because I'm calling
try
you
to
on your
show
bullshit right
you
now.
like all I'm trying to exhibit is that I got to tell you, man,
This is
out
so
of
bad
all of
faith
the
right
out
now.
of
This is
all of the out of all of the discussions that I've had regarding trans people, I got to tell you, when it comes to right wingers, they understand actually zero
I don't
about
really
the topic.
care about
What they
happened
do
to
is
Jake.
that they
That's
just
not me.
listen
I
to
don't care about them.
podcasts
We're in
and
this
then they
debate
and
right
then they
now, First
parrot
Amender.
the same thing over and over, saying trans women aren't real women. Like I can literally
Okay,
just
I
have
could
like
care less
a
about those
We're
people.
Uh,
we're
Right
getting a little off topic, like whether
Yeah.
he read a book or
I
what
don't
right
Okay.
wingers
care
say. We're
about
getting a
other
little off
bullshit
well,
topic.
you're
what's
bringing up.
important
Try
to
to rein
me,
it back in.
is like, okay, if you're actually interested in understanding trans people and what it is, I would recommend to pick up an actual book, an endocrinology, or a book that actually explains what are the differences between men and women at a chemical level. And it can be exhibited. That's why multiple fields of study are able to.
Thank you very much, Keith, for the $5, brother. Thank you very much, dude. Change everything from girl and boy to female and male. Their points fall apart like the fruit that they are. Well, you know what? If I ever debate someone on trans issues again, I'll keep that in mind, Keith. Thank you very much. Yes, just change it to male and female. Thank you very much, brother.
Confirm the existence of trans people, all from separate studies. So, but you won't even acknowledge the very basic fact that gender is different from sex. And when I'm referring to gender, the predicate is that it is an internal sense of sex that is often dictated by the way that the brain forms at an embryological level. That's what that is. Do you understand?
I heard this and I understand this. You're saying that the way that the brain forms when it comes to the endocrine system, I heard all that right now, even though you didn't answer the two previous questions that I asked. I'm willing to be generous and even debate with you on this too. The problem with this is the two paradoxes that I presented, you were never able to reconcile. But moving past this,
What paradox?
The paradox of 6-year-olds looking at dicks, right? I even asked
I
you this.
did answer that right away. I
But
said,
then when we
no,
went to-
wear your underwear.
When we went to, yeah, you said this, but this
You remember
doesn't
where I
happen.
said, no, wear your underwear? Okay,
In the
cool.
showers,
So you know that I
in gym
answered that
showers,
question.
people wear underwear.
What?
That's
Who is
crazy.
who
bro.
is
Like,
who
this
is
is
who is
crazy.
taking off their, like, listen, just use the shower, you use a towel. Like, this
I-
isn't hard. Just
Look,
be polite.
I don't want to
This
say
is
You just, dude, in that Gold's Gym example, the black woman that was complaining about the man in the locker room, she said she was changing. She was butt naked changing. That's what happens when you go to the gym. You change your clothes in the locker room. That's what it's there for. So she said she was changing. She was naked. She was undressing, and the guy was just there, and it made her feel uncomfortable. So no, First Amender, you can't just, oh, well, just wear underwear, wear a towel or whatever. No, it's not how it works. You would think that this guy probably hangs out at the gyms all the time in the locker rooms. You would think he would know this.
isn't a difficult
I wanna move
concept.
past
Yeah,
because you
and
were
just
unable to
FYI,
answer this.
trans women aren't assaulting women
You
in the
were
women's
unable to
locker room
answer
or
this.
women's bathrooms.
No,
Trans
let's move
women,
forward.
it
You
is
didn't even have to date.
overwhelmingly,
Just
even
move
by a
past
per capita basis, it is overwhelmingly cisgendered men. It is not trans women doing it. And that actually makes
By a
sense,
non-date
considering the
data
fact
point
that
you
their
brought up. Anyways, moving
testosterone
past
is
this.
basically zilch. They have
Moving
no
past
sex
this.
drive. Their dick doesn't even work
Okay,
anymore. Who
anyways.
are they sexually assaulting?
Who are they sexually assaulting? So again, even if we grant him that, which by the way, why would you want to encourage that then? Why would you want to encourage a decreased sex drive, doing all these things, like taking all these hormones that it decreases your sex drive? Why would you want to wish that on a person? But okay, that aside, even if we grant him that, again, what about the men that want to go into women's locker rooms because they're fucking creeps? First Amendment has no argument to that. The best he comes up with, people are not going to do that. That's Looney Tune stuff. No. Men aren't going to do that, which is wild that he could just dismiss it when men do that all the time.
Oh, okay. So a 6-year-old can see a dick that doesn't work, and that's not sexually assaulting anybody visually.
I never
That's
said
okay?
that. I never said that. Never at any
No,
point did
hold
I
on, you
ever
That's a good
imply
point, too,
that.
Martae.
Their dick doesn't
I didn't even
work.
imply.
Who are
What
they
is
sexually
wrong, you
assaulting?
people? Holy shit.
I just asked you the gym question, and then you just told me their dick doesn't work.
I
Who are they
answered it.
assaulting?
Don't show your dick to people. Like, what? It's a locker room. Unless if you're like over, I think like the only people that actually like
This
get
is
completely
crazy.
naked are like people who are in their like 60s at the gym. Like, it's
insane.
ridiculous.
This
Nobody
is
does
insane.
this.
I'm willing to move past this because we don't have much time.
Yeah, I answered the
for you to be
fucking
bogged down in
question.
questions that
And
you
so I
can't even
want you to
fucking answer.
address the endocrinological responses to the brain. I could show how the
All right, so he's going back to the endocrinological. You know, he keeps bringing that up because that's the only thing he has. Because again, he knows that we don't give a shit about it, so that's the only thing he can rely on. But yeah, again, like I said, we can't see what's going on in here with their endocrine levels and bullshit and stuff like that. You can't see what's going on there. Okay, so we have to use our eyes, and we go, "Hey, that guy looks like a guy. He's going into the women's locker room. Maybe we shouldn't allow that." First Amender is like, well, fuck all that. If they say they're a woman, he relies so much on what's going on up here, but in the end, he doesn't even care. Because at the end of the day, even if you look like a man, I could go as myself, looking like myself right now, and just tell First Amender, I'm a woman. I identify as a woman. Gonna go to the women's locker room now. Bye. And he'll be fine with that. So it doesn't even matter what's going on up here. Just as long as you say you're a woman, that's good enough for people like First Amender. So yeah, this dude's totally lost. I want to see if he rage quits. So I'm going to fast forward a little bit. It's always good to see a good rage quit. Let's see here.
Secondary sex characteristics such as breasts, fat placement, how the skin feels. These things can change, however, with hormone replacement therapy.
Well,
You're not.
Dude, you were
old mate.
you
I'll
fucking
say this.
retard.
Old mate, if I can interject right now, he
Jesus
just
Christ.
I
continued
love
the
that.
whole debate 2 minutes
All right.
into the
Yo,
debate by saying
so just
women
FYI,
aren't trans
it's 11:25, right?
Are exactly.
If I get,
Oh,
let me
the
listen.
Rage quit
I
is coming.
assumed. Listen, I assumed
The
that
rage
this
quit
is
is
going
coming.
to be. I assumed that this was going to be, a good faith discussion, and that this would be moderated.
You haven't been
just
good
as
faith the
Speakeasy
whole
said,
debate.
that it
You
is
even turned
not
up
going
late.
to be
No,
that you're
so
not going to be
First Amender,
shitty towards
he's a
me. If you're
moderator,
just
you're
going to
Hold
be
on,
shitty
let
towards
him
me,
get off what he's saying.
if you're
Let him get
just
off
going to
what
be
he's saying.
shitty towards me, I'll be honest.
Ooh, poor choice of words, Speakeasy. Never ever say let him get off when talking about First Amender. He might do it.
I'm about 30 minutes past me going to bed. I have work in the morning,
Says the
right?
guy that's been insulting people all day.
Rage quit. Rage quit. Rage
Please.
quit. See ya.
Goodbye. Have a good day.
Rage
Catch you
quit.
later.
Hey, I just want to
See
let
you,
you know,
pussy.
old mate, go fuck yourself. Original vintage, go fuck yourself. Tariak, go fuck yourself. Go be a hateful piece
I
of
got a
garbage. And I
girlfriend,
hope
buddy.
you guys
I
go
don't fuck
die. Have a
myself.
good day. Bye.
Enjoy your dildos.
That was crazy.
Dude, that was amazing. That was good stuff. I like how immediately it goes into the open panel part, and all of a sudden, it immediately just with the insults, like,
So it
dude,
is not
you're a retard, dude, you're this. He's like, you know what? I've had enough, guys. I'm gonna go home now. I'm tired of you guys making fun of me. And he keeps saying, like, well, I thought I was gonna have a good faith debate. No, dude, you are not good faith in it. You are not good faith. You dismiss any rightful claims we have. You think all we do is just listen to the podcast. I don't know what podcast you think we're listening to. I would have asked him, what podcast am I listening to that I'm getting this information from? I don't know. But it's probably a podcast because that's all you right wingers do. Just listen to your podcast and you get all this hateful information, and then you come and you fucking own me in debates, and I fucking hate it. I hate it. I'm gonna go home. It's amazing how I think First Amender has been doing this for like a year now, I think, like almost a year now. And it's amazing he hasn't learned a single thing. So, but you know what? I'm here for it. Because as long as First Amender doesn't learn a single thing, then it's nothing but content for all of us. Good job, Martae. You absolutely destroyed him, but not hard to do. What did you guys think about this? Leave a comment in the comment section below. Subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed this. Also, make sure you subscribe to Speakeasy's channel. That's where this debate took place at. I'll have the link down in the description down below. Also, subscribe to Martae's channel On the Edge. Link in the description will be available for that too.